Hey guys, well, it's been a while since we've done things this way, but in light of recent events, specifically my last live stream on Tuesday, I've decided that it would be probably better to just continue my team career, doing regular videos the way I used to back in the day, because, to be honest, I'm doing these live streams when I come home from work and I'm quite tired when I come home, which makes it quite difficult to, focus on racing. And when I'm tired, I actually tend to get very easily distracted. So I'm battling tiredness, then I'm trying to focus, and then I have the chat window open next to me, and I keep looking over there, and I keep losing focus and doing dumb mistakes in the race, which basically is why the first season of my team went so poorly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to watch back the streams, even if you don't watch them, all of them, but take a quick glance at how things went, and they went pretty horribly. So going forward, my team career will be done as regular videos the way I used to do them back in the day. And actually, any other game from now on that requires me to stay focused and concentrate will from now on be regular videos. I'm still going to be doing live streams, most of them on the weekend, and mostly games that don't really require me to stay very focused or pay much attention. Also, please forgive me if my editing skills seem to have gotten a little bit rusty over these months, but it's been a very long time since I've edited any videos at all. And besides that, I've also switched editing programs. I'm now using Premiere Pro, so I'm still learning the new interface, the new menus, the new interactions, the new all of that. So it's going to take a little while until I get to grips with how Premiere Pro works and how to best adjust my workflow to suit Premiere Pro and my style of editing. With that said, please subscribe if you want to see more of this. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's try to get 20 likes on this video. I think that's a pretty reasonable amount of likes for this video, so let's try to get 20 likes. Also, we're very close to 1,000 subscribers. I would like to hit 1,000 before the end of the year, so please help me out with that. It would be very much appreciated if we could get 1,000 subs before the end of the year. Also, click on the bell icon and turn on all notifications to make sure that you receive notifications every time I upload a new video or start a new stream. With that said, let's get into today's race.
That ERS failure must have been super infuriating. We should focus on upgrades to our powertrain. That should help reduce the likelihood of faults like these cropping up again in the future.
Okay, so as I just stated, I've returned to my roots and I'm going to do the rest of this career mode as regular videos. With no distractions from chat and all that, hopefully we can turn this career around and back on the right track, because at the moment it's in shambles and we really need to make up for the retirement in Bahrain and the terrible first season. So we have a few messages here, but nothing too important it seems. So it's time we head on over to Free Practice 1. So here we are in FP1, and as usual we will start with all the practice programs. First off, it's track acclimatization, and let's see how things go. Okay, so here we are starting our first lap at the Chinese Grand Prix. Hopefully things will go well here in Free Practice, but we will have to wait and see as we start our acclimatization run, and I'll catch you back with all you once we're done. Okay, coming around now to complete our first practice program, the acclimatization program, and it actually went pretty well, so I'm quite happy with that. Next, it was time for the tire wear program, so hopefully this will go as smoothly as well. Okay, so the tire wear program went quite smoothly as I expected it to be. Unfortunately, I forgot to press the record button, so here we are as we start our race pace program, so hopefully I won't forget to record stuff this time around. Okay, and here we are coming around to finish the fifth and final lap of our practice program, and it actually went really well. Thank you, Jeff. And that is a P11 for the time being. Hopefully that's going to stay. But things are looking very promising for the Chinese Grand Prix, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you are as well. Unfortunately, once again I forgot to press the record button, but I finished free practice 1 in P17. Not the best, but still better than I expected. And here we are at the end of free practice 2. Once again I forgot to record it, but as you could see I actually managed to finish in 13th, which is really, really good.
Good day today.
And we have an interview. Well, to be honest, at the moment I think Ocon would be the person I would try to beat, really.
You spent a lot of time on the track during practice. Does the car have enough reliability to sustain that?
Well, we do need to test the car to see if it actually is reliable as we think it is, so you know, you have to practice and hope that the car holds together.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Thank you.
And with all the cars now over the line, let's see our top 3 again. Hamilton, Bottas, and Max Verstappen. And if today's practice is anything to go by, we're in for an exceptional weekend of Formula 1.
Thank you, Crofty. And as you can see, I managed to finish practice 3 in 11th, which is quite good. I'm happy with that result, and hopefully we can carry this momentum into qualifying. See you there. And here we are in Q1, ready to start our first lap, and hopefully we will be able to get into Q2 because I don't want to spend too much time in Q1. This is going to be the only lap I'll do, so I really hope that it's going to be enough to push us into Q2. And we are ready to come around and finish our first and only qualifying lap for Q1, and that momentarily puts us into P3. That's probably not going to stay there for long, but hopefully it's going to be okay and enough to push us into Q2. That indeed was a pretty decent run, and it puts us into P9 at the end of Q1, which gives me quite a bit of hope for the rest of the session, so hopefully things continue just like this. So for Q2 I decided to wait until around the mid session, and here we are coming around to set our first qualifying lap. I wasn't quite happy with that, so I decided to push a little bit harder and hopefully get into Q3, but for the time being we are P12. Let's try and push harder. Okay, so here we are coming out of the final corner for our second qualifying lap, and that puts us into P6, which is absolutely fantastic. Hopefully no one will be able to beat that time before the end of the session, and hopefully we won't get knocked out. So I only just barely made it into Q3 by only 0.02 of a second over Carlos Sainz, so this was really close. But we are through, and that's what matters most. So let's get cracking. Q3 then at the end, coming around with just a little over a minute left in the session to snatch P7, although I'm sure I'm not going to hold on to that position, but this is looking really good for the race tomorrow, so I'm quite happy with this. So ultimately I only got P8, but that's still pretty good given our recent history, so I'm pretty happy with this result, and hopefully we can carry this momentum onto the race as well. That would be really nice, and it looks like I'm actually finally leading a rivalry, so I'm quite happy with that as well.
It's time again then for Formula 1 in Shanghai. Northwest of this thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. And of course played host to Formula 1's 1000th World Championship event in 2019. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles an hour, with DRS assisting the cars down the back straight before they brake into the sharp hairpin at turn 14. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Ricciardo, Iceman, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, Sainz, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Tsunoda, Stroll, Mick Schumacher, George Russell and Guan Yu Zhou, Mazepin, Latifi, Markelov and Luca Giotto. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, so I have to be honest with you guys, I had to record this twice because apparently my computer doesn't really like recording this with everything at ultra, so I'm going to try and turn down the settings for next race, but we do have a very strong starting position here in P8. I'm not sure if I'll be able to gain any positions, but I'm sure as hell going to try and at least hold on to P8, so that's going to be our goal for this race, and I'll catch back up to you once we're ready to start the race.
No rain expected for the time being. Grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Okay, so here we are on the grid, waiting for the lights to go out for the Chinese Grand Prix of I almost said 1992, 2022, and we are about to go racing, and it's go! With a pretty bad start on my end, I really need to try and learn how to better manipulate the throttle and clutch as I lose 2 positions here, but hopefully I'll be able to catch back up and regain all those lost positions. We have 28 laps to do so, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it as I chase after Alonso, who is in P9, and I try to dive bomb on the inside there, but no real room. I also had a little bit of contact with Sainz coming out of the snail section of the track, but we are both okay. And here we are towards the end of lap 1 as I try to make a move on Alonso, but there's no real room, and tires are still quite cold at this point, so there's no grip, no real room to try and do any crazy maneuvers, but we are going to try and put the pressure on him, and hopefully he'll eventually make a mistake. Not much has happened until later on lap 5 when people started pitting, which allowed me to move up into P5, although at the end of this lap I'm going to have to pit as well, so that's not really going to help me out all that much, as I really am struggling for grip now, as both Ocon and Sainz are really trying to pressure me into making a mistake, but I'm trying to stay strong and positive, but hopefully things will go well. And here we are coming into our stop, hopefully avoiding doing a Lewis Hamilton, which we actually do, and now hopefully I won't speed through the pits, but that's... I managed to slow down in time as everyone now goes around us. Hopefully we'll have a decent time, as short as possible even. Looks like not a lot of people are in the pits at this point, only myself and Giotto, and we rejoined the track in P21. That's not very good. It looks like we will have our work cut out for ourselves, so not very happy, but hopefully I can make this work somehow. Moving on to lap 9 now, and I catch up to Markelov. I will try to overtake him obviously, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid another incident like the one in Bahrain, which kind of caused me to lose my crap. But we get the DRS on him, and we go past him really easily, get in front, make sure to defend as well as possible, and that's a position for us. Just a few more until we get to the point. Hopefully we'll be able to somehow make it all stick together. On the very next lap I catch up to Nicholas Latifi, so I'm going to try and line him up for a pass, get right behind him in the slipstream. I should get DRS, and there it is. Get side by side, and hopefully I'll break him into the hairpin. I break a little bit too early, afraid not to crash into Joe, which allows Latifi to keep his position, but I'm going to try and keep on pressuring him, and maybe he'll make a mistake. So on lap 11 I once again try and get back on Latifi and try and overtake him. I'm much closer to him this time. I'll get the DRS, and we pull right in front of him, no problems this time around. I'll break him as well into the hairpin, make sure not to crash into Zhou, and that's P19. Lap 13 and I catch up to Guan Yu Zhou, who's not doing very well at his home Grand Prix, but I get DRS on him. He tries to go defensive, that's not really going to work. I outbreak him into the hairpin, and that's P16. I think I might have missed it, but it looks like there were a few people in the pits. So that's P16, P15. So we're getting closer to the pits and to the points, and there are a few more people in the points. Stroll and Tsunoda, who actually just left the pits just before I could overtake them, as my hard tires are starting slowly to lose grip. But hopefully I'll be able to gain a few more positions, and hopefully I'll be able to get back into the points. That's obviously the aim here. Just about to end lap 14, and I'm only just able to keep up with Tsunoda and Stroll, but Giovinazzi was in the pits, and that moves us up into P14, so that's a little bit closer to the points, which makes me quite happy. Just about to start lap 17, and I'm still barely keeping up with Stroll and Tsunoda as we make a way past the pits, and there were a few people actually in, which moves us up into P10, so we are back in the points now, not in P8 where we started from, but at this point I pretty much given up on that. I'm not really sure I'll be able to get back into P8, so P10 will suffice if I can manage to hold on to this position. Lap 20 now, and I'm still barely managing to keep up to Stroll as I kind of hit him there a little bit. But not only that, Ricardo is slowly catching up to us, which could spell disaster for us if I'm not careful. Lap 24, and now Stroll was pulling away, which wasn't very good. And even worse was the fact that Ricardo was catching up to me very, very quickly, so I really needed to start playing defensively, although that's not my strong suit. Then again, racing in general is not really my strong suit, but defending racing is probably the thing that I'm more worst at in general when it comes to racing. So this was going to be a very difficult few laps until the checkered flag. Lap 25 now, and Daniel Ricciardo was really breathing down my neck. He gets the DRS on the straight and even gets ahead of me. He tries to outbrake me. However, I managed to defend the position really well, at least for now. Moving on to the final lap then, coming out of the final corner in fact, as I managed to at the end catch up to Lance Stroll, but it was all too late. However, we did manage to finish the race in P10, which means 1 point, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm very happy about this result. I could have not hoped for anything better. We are already starting the season off a little bit better than last time.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Yuki Tsunoda gets my vote today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improve their position in the championship. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Thank you, Crofty, and here are the results for the rest of the drivers. Mick Schumacher looks like retired from the race. Unfortunately, I forgot to record a replay of that, so we'll have to make do with what we have. Well, that was the Chinese Grand Prix. It actually ended up being a lot better than I expected it to be, which makes me quite happy, obviously. Still, we probably could have done a little bit better, but I'm not going to complain too much because given how last season, incidentally our first season, went, this is already a lot better. Now, obviously, this is only early days, so there's still a lot of time to make mistakes, but hopefully not too many, and I will be very, very pleased if we can continue scoring some more points. Probably not everywhere, but I'll do my best to be as competitive as possible. Obviously, to help us, I will have to build up the car and build up the team. Also, those who follow the stream will know that I'm getting rid of Artem Markelov. I do have someone in sight. For those of you who haven't watched the stream, it's going to be a surprise as to who is going to join the team. But we'll have to wait for that until the next transfer window, which should be around mid-season. But anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. It was obviously very interesting, as I am pondering whether or not I want to renew the sponsorship deals, and I actually do. But yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and as I said, please let's try to get this video 20 likes. It would be quite interesting if we could get it to 20 likes. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll catch you all next time. Oh, right, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you get all the notifications. Obviously, turn all notifications on because YouTube can be quite stingy sometimes about stuff like this. But anyway, that is it, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.